Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, can we store different type of values into same array in Java? Let me answer. Yes, in Java, we can store different type of values into the same array with the help of object arrays. With normal arrays, it is not possible, guys. Normal arrays like integer array, char array, Boolean array, float array, double array, etc. array, it's not possible to store different type of values into same array. But when you create object array, it is possible to store multiple values where these multiple values are of different types, okay? Different data types. In that case, it is allowed in Java, guys, if you use object arrays. But if you use a specific type of array like integer array, these multiple elements that you are storing into that integer array should be of integer literal type, okay? Integer value type. But you cannot store decimal values into that variable of integer array and all, okay? So if you still want to store multiple values having different literal types into the same array, we have to create object arrays. This is the only solution in Java, guys. I'll explain in detail what exactly object arrays are and how we can use the object arrays to store values of different literal types into the same array variable. Okay. Further, I'll switch to Eclipse IDE and create a new class. First, I'll show you how that is possible. So 3, I'll just give the class name as 3 with main method. And inside this, if I create a normal array, instead of object array, if I create a normal array, let's say int array, AR. So what type of values I can store? I can only store integer values, 9, 5, 7, 1. You see, I'm not getting any error. But if I try to store a decimal value, like say 5.5, or Boolean value, let's say true, here false, okay, char value, it will take. Then any other we have 1.2f, okay, like that different type of literals we cannot store into a array variable if it is of int data type array. Okay, what if I convert this into object array? Errors will be gone. You see, literals having different data or literal type, okay, integer literal, decimal literal, or double literal, floating point literal, char literal, Boolean literal, all the different type of elements, all the multiple elements are of different literal types, can be stored into the same array if the array is of object array type. It's only possible with object arrays, guys, okay? How it is possible? How the object arrays are able to store different literal types? Why? Because here is the concept, guys, okay? Object is a parent class of all the classes in Java, okay? So object class is a parent class. Object is a parent class of all classes in Java. Okay, so how that is possible? For example, if I make this as integer class array, only integer values can be stored, only 9 can be stored. Remaining, you see, 5.5, true, false, char, and boolean, this floating point are giving errors. What if I make it double here, double array, double class array? You see, only decimal values are allowed, but remaining all literal types are not allowed. Okay. So if I make it Boolean, only true and false are allowed, and remaining literal types are not allowed. But if you consider here, I told you, right, object class is a parent class of all the classes in Java. So whether it be integer class or whether it is a double class, whether it is Boolean class, doesn't matter, guys. All these classes are the child classes of object class. Hence, you can assign the objects of this integer class, double class, Boolean class to the variables of the object parent class. That is the reason the literal types, okay, that literal types, for example, if I give Boolean means Boolean literals can be stored into the Boolean array, Boolean class array. But Boolean class is a child class of the object class. So even though I make it object class, these Boolean values are accepted because Boolean class is a child class of object class. The parent class can accept these Boolean values. Similarly, integer class is a child class of object class. Hence, this value 9 can be assigned. Okay, can be taken by object class. Double double class is a child class of object class. Double literals also can be stored into the object. Okay, so then coming to the char is a character class is a child class of the object class, hence it can be stored. floating float class is a child class object class, hence floating point literals can be stored into the object class. Okay, so object array can store values of different literal types into the same variable. But if you go with integer class or character class or boolean class or double class separately, all the literal types will not be allowed, guys. Only some literal types will be allowed, and other uncompatible literal types won't be allowed. Hence, we have to create an object array so that all the values of these different literal types can be stored into the same array. I can use for each loop now. Each and every element in this particular array is of object class type. So I'll write object here, object x colon AR, and I'll print it out. Okay, system.out.println. I'll print out the object. Okay, X. Now run the code, and all the elements of this object array should be printed in the output. That is 9, 5.5, true, false, yes, 1.2. You see, this is how we can use object arrays to store, okay, the multiple values of different literal types into the same array in Java. Normal arrays, you cannot do that, guys. Okay, arrays can store multiple values into the same variable, but of same data type. But if you go with the object arrays, it is possible in Java to store, okay, values of different literal types into the same array. Okay, only it's possible with object array, because object class is a parent class of all the classes in Java. Hence, it can accept all the values of different literal types into the same array. So with practical demonstration, I have answered this question for you. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.